Welcome to our next episode of PT Moment with Dana and Denise. Sorry we missed you all winter, but we're back now because it's spring and time to get moving. So what are we doing today?
So today we're going to talk about what we look at during a vestibular assessment.
Okay, fun.
Okay.
All right.
So whenever someone comes in with complaints of dizziness, then we need to look at a couple of different things. And a lot of it comes from how the eyes are connected to the inner ear where the vestibular system is located.
Okay.
Okay. And so a lot of the things that we do are just tests that you would do at an eye doctor exam where you follow a finger with your eyes and don't move your head, hold up two fingers and have you look back and forth between them and make sure that you're moving accurately between
So like my eye isn't shaking on one side or the other. Okay.
Right. And to make sure that they're working together, because if your eyes aren't working together, that can give you a sensation of dizziness also.
Okay.
So in terms of when we would need to use more physical therapy approaches is when there's a disconnect between the reflex between the inner ear and the eyes. And the inner ear keeps your eyes stable on a target as your head and body move through space. So I can keep looking at you and move my head because that reflex is working properly.
Okay.
Okay. And then other things that we look at too are abnormal eye movements that would require maybe further look into the central nervous system. And we use a tool like these Frenzel lenses, lovingly referred to as beer goggles by my friends. And these help magnify the eye. You want to try them on?
Sure.
Oops, there you go.
So you plug this into what?
It's plugged into a light and the inside of them lights up.
So you can see what my eyes are doing.
Yeah.
I look?
That looks really nice. It matches your shirt.
Oh, thanks.
So what it does is it magnifies the eye.
Like everything is
blurs
blurry.
Your vision, exactly, because
except it comes into focus like here.
Really close, but far away, and that's to help prevent you from staring at something, to fixate on an object. That's how people with vestibular problems will cheat with these tests. And what we look for here is if you have an abnormal...
Just looking at you. Really?
Hello! An abnormal nystagmus, which is like a bouncing movement that we see in the eye.
So would you, if I had them off, would you see that nystagmus?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so this just magnifies it like you
said.
Okay.
It magnifies it and it blurs your vision so that you can't.
Now, I mean, I like my beer and my wine, but I don't think I've ever had that much drink that it's this blurry.
Right.
So... I don't know, like it does feel really weird to have it that. So what happens to people that have those symptoms and you put this on? Does it make them sick? Or does this not really affect them?
It doesn't really affect them too much, yeah. Some people are just, any movement that we do with the head or the eyes makes them nauseous. So this doesn't really...
Doesn't make it better or worse, it just allows you to diagnose it.
It allows me to see, and they're only on for a couple minutes at the most.
And then I sometimes see you doing tests. Like I'll walk by your office and I'll see people like holding a patterned, like a checkboard looking thing.
Right.
What do you do with that?
Yeah, so that's exercises that we do to help retrain those
so that's
things.
not a testing.
It isn't a test. It's based off of the test that we'll do.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a treatment to help retrain that reflex and reconnect the eye stability to the vestibular system.
And so when you're doing things like with the string that you do, or you have them hold the two tongue depressors, that's
and
the same.
Back and forth. It's to retrain eye movement and to get the eyes working together.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And of all of that, like, why does this interest you? What about this? I think it's intricate, but I don't know if I
think it's just fascinating. Neurology in itself is so complex, and it's changing so frequently, and we learn more and more monthly, really, that it's just, to me, it's a fascinating concept, how your eye can be connected to your inner ear and even the upper part of the neck, and how those all work together.
Yeah. I remember in one of the manual therapy classes I took, we had patients laying in front of us, and our hands were just under the skull, where the skull meets the upper neck.
Right.
And all we worked on was just having patients look from side to side, and how you could feel those muscles that stabilize your neck firing just with eye movement. So how intricate the system is in that communication to keep our head stable.
Yeah. Well, the tendency is for the head to follow the eyes. And so for your eyes to move and your head to stay stable, those little muscles at the base of the skull have to fire to keep your head stable while your eyes move. And that's how, in reverse, if those muscles are spasming and tight, or if you have really bad postural changes, our forward head patients, text neckers.
That's awesome.
People that have a lot of problems up in that area of the neck will tend to just have dizziness, and it's not because that they have a vestibular problem, but it's really just coming from dysfunction in the neck that they can't keep everything stable as they move.
Is that why when you ask them questions, you'll say, does the dizziness come on first or the headache? Like when you're trying to evaluate, like, is somebody having dizziness because it's really a neck issue? Is that why you'll sometimes ask that pattern of questions?
Yeah, patients are usually really insightful as to what brings on their symptoms and how they started. And sometimes it's really more than one thing at a time. So we get rid of maybe a reflex problem, because of an ear infection, a real bad infection that they had, and that's gone and that's cleared up, but they still complain of dizziness, and then we have to kind of peel back another layer and figure out where the rest of that's coming from.
That's great. Now, there's times too I'll hear your patients saying that they get jaw tightness, or that they'll get a headache or dizziness, and then you're asking them about their jaw, or you'll work on some of the muscles that are around their jaw or even inside their mouth. What's the link to that?
Yeah, so that's, a lot of that is trigger point issues, and it's just another place where dysfunction in the jaw will refer up into the head and just kind of perseverate those dizziness symptoms and make them last longer or worse than what they really are.
Right, great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for telling us all this today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
We hope I just learned a ton, so I hope you guys did too. I would love to keep going with some of your stuff and maybe talk about concussion testing.
That would be great.
On the next one, what do you think?
That would be fun.
All right, great. We spent lunch looking at some of this new software that's coming out that they use with virtual reality and apps.
Amazing, yeah.
So maybe we can play with some of the apps. Like how you use that with concussion. Maybe we could start with what a concussion is and then what you do for treatment. And,
absolutely.
I think there's a lot of great knowledge out there right now about concussions. It seems to be in the literature and in the news every day.
Right.
So maybe it would be a good topic because I don't understand a lot of it. Yeah. I know that how I feel about my son playing football, but I know that because I've learned so much from you, but I think there's probably stuff I need to learn myself.
Sure,
so.
And all the stuff that we talked about today plays really heavily into concussion also.
Because the eye, inner ear system.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Well, or if you guys have a topic you want us to cover, just message us and we'll figure it out. So.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have a great day.
Bye, everyone.